We're back here on the program, the platform, and the final segment of our program as we continue our conversation with Drexel Deal, speaking about his compelling book that is on the market. When you were in prison, Mr. Deal, you were blind at the time.
Yes.
The last time. How did you fare as a blind person?
Well, the good part about it, I wouldn't say it was good, but unfortunately, because the rebellions, when I lost my sight, we were at the top of the chart in terms of the gang world. That means so a lot of fellas who were from the rebellions were also in prison. So when I went to prison blind, I ended up in a cell with just rebellions.
Okay, so you were in prison with your boys?
Yes, they looked out for me.
And your boys protected you?
Yes.
And in your blindness, you were able to study? What were you able to do?
Well, amazingly, after I lost my sight, I started to make a change towards the better. It was slow, but it gradually, I was getting there. The individuals used to read the Bible to me, and every other day, a guy named William Pratt, he would read me a scripture, and I would memorize that particular scripture and so forth. And so that is what helped me in my transformation as well.
And because you lost your sight, your memory became even keener or sharper, eh?
I tend to use it, I guess I use it more, and the memory's like a muscle. The more it's worked out, the stronger it gets.
In this book, I know we're skipping many of the chapters. You have a subtext here says, the Camp Road fellas attempt to get even. What went down there?
We had an incident with them downtown, and they intended to respond by meeting us over the hill. And they lured us into a rock war. We were already past that because we were moving on to weapons. And these were individuals, they lured us into a rock war, and they won. And so we went back and got them.
And got them
with weapons.
With weapons?
Yes.
So they won the rock war?
They won the rock war.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. And so you went back there shooting up the place?
Yeah, we went back for them and shot one or two individuals.
You killed anybody?
No, no one died.
No one died.
Ironically enough, innocent 13-year-old boy was shot. And the only reason he was shot simply because he was wearing a Camp Road Hoyas Bulldog jacket. Hoyas Bulldog jacket.
Is that gang still pretty much alive?
No, that's basically dissolved. When the rebellions were the first one to dissolve, and we dissolved by fighting amongst ourselves. It started off with being the leader, and then all the other gangs followed suit.
You and the leader fought?
Yeah, we fought.
How?
When the individual started, there was a group of individuals.
You and Scrooge?
Yeah, me and Scrooge. Scrooge and I ended up fighting. They were beating an individual, and I thought it was unfair. And so I told them, that's wrong what you guys were doing. And so he told me, it was 10 of them, he told me, like, yeah, this is not your war, you need to move on. And so I figured I could have taken one in a fist fight any day. And I told the fellas who were standing around would allow us to fight and resolve it with our fists. But they jumped in, and I had to run for my life. And in running, two of my friends were coming to a shortcut. And when they saw me with everyone running behind me, one pulled out a .357, and I just snatched it out of his hand and turned around and shot the leader.
And you shot the leader?
Yes.
Not fatally?
No, he didn't die.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I interviewed him, and he's one of my best interviewees, so to speak.
I believe I interviewed him too. But anyway, you also took your criminality to one or two islands, eh?
Yes.
You landed at Hawk's Nest one time? The
Hawk's Nest, as a matter of fact, talks about my trip to prison. My first trip to prison, the Gunhawks were running prison back then.
Gunhawks were running prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys were older.
So you had gangs who are actually running the prison?
Yeah. The Gunhawks, I ended up in a quote-unquote a cell or semi-dormitory called a dorm, a bulkhead. And it was 35 individuals, and 20 of them was from the same area. And I just joined the gang some 2 weeks prior. And minute I step in, the guy took one look at me and said, look here, he's a rebellion. And I was like, what in the world I get myself into?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to do a lot of reasoning. And unfortunately, I was able to escape the hawk's nest without being picked apart because I was new to rebellion, so they couldn't actually place me as being one.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hawks Nest ran the prison for a while.
Yes, and then as the rebellion started committing more serious crimes and started going to prison.
So you had more rebellions
in prison
than the
Hawks.
Hawks Nest.
And so eventually the rebellions took over prison for a good long time.
Well, how did the prison officers react to all of this? What were they doing? What were they saying? What was the mindset?
Well, the mindset, I can't speak to what was their mindset, because a lot of those, even though when they realize that this here is a quote-unquote gang, a lot of the guys from the same gang, they do their best to break it up.
Mm.
But the individuals will somehow slip back in, unbeknownst to the officers, and so forth.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
When you became a Christian?
I became a Christian, I guess, in prison when they, 1998, actually. Because when I lost my sight, I attempted to duck the case. I attempted to leave the island, and they tapped our phone and got arrested at the airport. A year later, I attempted to go by boat. Boat broke down at sea.
How were you able to do that? You didn't have your sight?
I didn't have the sight, but I had the quote-unquote the support network who was still able to find the funds to try to get me off the island.
And you were charged at that time with attempted murder?
Yes, I was charged with the incident that caused me to lose my sight.
Okay.
And I was trying to duck it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so 1998, you got saved?
Yes.
Tell us about the experience.
It was actually a decision. Just a simple, mind you, when I first lost my sight, I prayed, I tell you, I had this game plan, I prayed a lot of forgiveness because I thought I was going to die. And when I realized that I was not going to die, panic struck in. And so after that incident, I didn't, quote unquote, kept my commitment to God because I was still trying to duck this particular case. Mm-hmm. And when they finally caught me, I realized, okay, God, you got me now. I'm all yours. Mm-hmm. And so forth in that regards. And so I begin to, like I indicated to you, there's an individual who used to read me the Bible every day, and I used to focus on memorizing a particular scripture that stand out to me.
How long were you sentenced for?
Actually, the case never came up.
The case never came up?
Mr. Jones says a scripture in Proverbs 16, verse 7, that says, when a man's ways is pleasing to God, he will make even his enemies live at peace with him. A police officer got me out of prison. And to this day, I don't know who he is.
He got you out. How
Yes.
did he get you out? I mean, you just don't get out of prison after being involved in a heinous crime.
Such as that.
Such as that. How did you get out?
When they finally caught up with me, I don't know what happened. They couldn't find the case.
They couldn't find the case.
They couldn't find the files. And so they had to look back for a case that I had previously to remand me to prison, which was just simply, they had searched a house that I had slept in, and they had found 3 bullets. So that was what I was remanded to prison with. And 5 months later, the police officer asked me if I had a lawyer. I told him no. And he said, I can get you bail. And I came out on that charge. And it's been 18 years now.
You came out on bail, so the case never came up.
Mm-hmm.
And you are living happily ever after.
I wouldn't say living happily ever after. I spoke with a lawyer, and he indicated to me probably they realized what happened to you and the fact that you lost your sight. They probably consider that's just to serve.
Because whomever you tried to rob got the better part of you.
The better part of me, and so forth. And to be honest with you, it has been the police force who has been taking the lead in terms of getting my message out there. It was Hewlin Hanna who even invited me twice on his program, Policing Today. It was the Commissioner of Police, Ellison Greenslade, who also financially assisted me in getting this book to where it is today in that regards. So I guess they somehow figured I'm a better asset to them.
And so you're working to win souls?
Most definitely.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so very much for being here today. I appreciate it. You made 2 trips here, and I hope that we are using your story to educate people and to guard young men away from a life of crime. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine, Mr. Jones.
Thank you so very much. Put your hand right here. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for watching and listening to our program this evening. Good evening, everyone.